Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you something that I'm planning to do. Uh, just a disclaimer, everything, yada yada yada. I've talked about this a few times now, but I haven't had the time, chance, and a whole lot of things happened to be playing 40K actively right now. So, I'm still looking at when I next get the chance, testing out things, and I wanted to share with you one of the things that I am looking to test. Synaptic Nexus. I made a video about how, after looking at all the points and how they broke down, maybe Synaptic Nexus has a chance again. I shouldn't say again, has a chance, right? Because, um, well, fuck it. The Neurolictor is cheaper, and melee units like the Trigon are cheaper, so on and so forth. That's where we're at. Also, here's another disclaimer. I'm talking about this for fun. This is a for fun idea. Don't expect to win a tournament with this idea. This is something that maybe you can successfully piss off your friend, and maybe some people at the local game store. Okay? Don't take this and then go, man, Monster told me I could win the world. I did not say that. So, besides knowing that the Neurolictor is going to make the list for Synaptic Nexus, the other one that I've been looking at, Neurotyrant, and the full think tank, Zoe's. Fall back and shoot, fine. Power of the Hive Mind on the Neurotyrant makes this a 2d6 622 flamer. Ignores cover, psychic torrent, all the things, right? Now, uh, that's one aspect. The next aspect is the fact that I got to thinking about Death Star units. When we left off with the hearkening of the Eldari Codex, a lot of us saw the Fire Dragons, and a lot of people figured that high investment, that and combination with Double Oath Gilliman running double Oath plus one to wound Gilliman list running amok, everybody kind of figured that Crusher Stampede and high investment units would go the way of the dodo. Now, high investment bricks did kind of do that, but we saw Crusher Stampede for our detachments being played was still second best, if not first best some months. Um, First best, the best some months, and now the Death Star units, yeah, still went whatever. But Imperial Knights were kicking butt. Chaos Knights even had a decent enough result or two. So we've seen that that's possible, and this got me thinking about our other Death Star unit, Old One Eye, and the Carnifexes, the Wrecking Crew. So, color me surprised when somebody recently has been getting reps with Old One Eye and the Carnifexes. Your boy Swizzly of 6 Plus Plus Gaming. Want to apologize, I haven't been keeping up with streams because I am no longer available at the time for the most time. This is uh 2 p.m. my time, Tuesdays. So unfortunately, I can't catch streams, but I did. I was looking around and I was like, man, I should see if Bugwatch has, said something recently. And to my surprise, looking to catch the VOD, Old One Eye and his Fexy buddies are just brilliant for your voice whistling. So, uh, that makes me less nervous to try a list that has both the Death Stars to do the threat overload thing, right? Into which you got Old One Eye and the Carnifexes moving up, and the Think Tank following after. Also, in the past, I've only ever liked taking the Wrecking Crew when their Neurotyrant was involved, so I can give a Neuroloid, they go up and still retain Synapse. In Synaptic Nexus, that means that one turn they get a 5 up invuln, another turn they get to benefit from the plus 1 to advance or charge, and another turn they get plus 1 to hit in melee. Now, if we're being honest with ourselves, we're still probably taking Death Spitter uh, card effects is, but uh, you know, for old one eye to get +1 to hit in melee without needing to be damaged in Crusher Stampede and still getting rerolls if you have a card effects attached, yeah, that sounds pretty nice. But back over here, if I can for a second, do free unprompted advertising. Looking at the Bug Watch episode, uh, your voice Wesley is opening up coaching, and I would like all of you to truly consider that. If you've ever asked me a question on how to improve your game per se, I think this is the person you should be looking at. Now, not only is that just because I don't I don't think I'm the right person to talk to for that. Per se, like if you want ideas and either way, this is about me right now. Um, for your voice whistling, this is somebody that knows the faction, and I think is the appropriate level of coach for my audience, right? Um, somehow you newer players have found me, and I thank you for stopping by and giving me the time of day. And I think that this would be the coach to help you make that transition where you're still learning overall things. Your boy Swiftly, go ahead, look at the VOD, look to see to message him, get involved with this. Also, a good portion of you are from the UK. I am US based. Um, or if you're US based and have different time than I do, look into this opportunity. I don't know what days Swiftly's doing everything, but go watch the Bug Watch episode, figure it out, look towards it, right? I understand some things can be scary. Like I'm looking to get into the game, but all the coaches are telling me things about what I need to do and what the fuck is a matrix and what is all of this. I just started playing 3 months ago. That wasn't a mocking voice, but I understand the situation, right? It's a lot. It's hectic. I think this would be the perfect coach and the perfect time for a lot of you. Um, not to say that you all are just that bad, but just saying. Hey, I know there's been questions. Look this out. I'm going to stop because I think I'm fumbling this, but I'm leaving all of that in. This is my endorsement for you, boy Swayzely. Now, going back to today's topic, the other thing that with these two Death Star units, and something that I'm pretty sure was in this VOD, I started planning and then I kind of forgot one specific thing that I wanted to address in here. Um, they're okay using a thing that I had fun with and one of the most broken strats. Um, core strats, that is. Broken, maybe hyperbolic, but Fire Overwatch. Fire Overwatch, good. Your opponent moves, you shoot them if they're within 24 inches. Cool, right? I had fun with this on an Hive Crone in Crusher Stampede. Because people are like, oh, Crusher Stampede, I don't get to use any of the strats. I always have CP. And it's like, well, why do you have CP when you can use the core stretch too? Um, anyway, Overwatch with a Flamer is good. Overwatch with a Flamer is good. 622 Flamer and then some more shots. Overwatch with a bunch of shots is good. Rerolling on top of that, right? Um, Overwatch with the Flamer is good. And I did skip over a tab, but we're going to come back to that because while I'm here, I should address the other thing. The Hive Crone is 200 points, and if you're going to tell, I understand the next thing. Monster, if I'm going to spend 200 points on something with the Flamer for Overwatch, I'm going to take an Acid Spray Tyran effects. And I won't knock you for it. But the reason I'm not looking at the Acid Spray Tyran effects in this case is because I have an 18-inch 622 Flamer that actually has Ignores Cover. I have that. I don't need a second one of that because of the detachment. Also, the reason I'm looking at it for the Hive Crone, and again including that into the list, spoiler, also it has you'll understand in a second, hopefully. What I say is going to make some sense. I have a 20-inch moving monster when it goes into hover. I can put this into positions for that flamer to be a real pain in the ass, as I already have tried in Crusher Stampede. right? That's already something I know that I like. And it clears screens for me before I get into any problems of why can't my current effects and old one eye uh my current effects is an old one eye get past this situation. People will try to screen out old one eye and the current effects is. If they can't do that because of a flamer that moved 20 inches, yeah, guess what? You get to open the door and then you get to wreck their face. Now, coming back to the tab that I skipped, uh, you might be asking why I'm not doing all of this in Invasion Fleet. If I'm going to be going for if I'm going to be going for Overwatch and rolling sixes on shots, I might as well be doing those things in Invasion Fleet, right? Yes and no. Here's the thing with Invasion Fleet. After just this hyper adaptation, which is fine, and the 5 of Feel No Pain, which is good, I don't make use of a lot of this. Also, because I'm talking about two flamers, they auto hit. They don't get to benefit from Invasion Fleet shenanigans here. So, a 5 up Feel No Pain, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. But I'm not looking for fight phase combat for Overwatch situations. Not really looking at that for the units. Fight on death, sure, but I don't know if you've ever been in combat with a Zoe. It's nothing to be afraid of. Not looking at too many Endless Multitude units in here. Not looking to change my hyper adaptation because, again, can't really use it with the Flamers. And the Consolidate move, fine, but not really what I'm looking to do here. So that's why it's not Invasion Fleet in my mind so far. Going back over to Synaptic Nexus, I can give a Hive Crone a 5 of Invuln because I've given a Neuraloid over to it with the Neurotyrant, and it moves 20 inches in each screens. That's here's a hot take. The Hive Crone, if you play smart, will make its worth in points. Yeah, if you eat up a screen that was only 70 points, that that's not the great use of 200. Uh, Hopefully you weren't a complete doofus and didn't put it in line of sight of anti-aircraft monster tank gun after that. Now, if we do that for a unit that if you take out a sizable number of tank busters, right? It is 2d6, so there will be times that you roll snake eyes and you go, damn, this is really unfortunate timing for me. But then you have 12 other shots somehow, right? Say all that to say that it's about target priority and what's on the board and where everything is, right? You can't forget that this is still part of the game. So, as long as you're playing smart enough, I think there is some hope for hover aircrafts and even some non hover aircrafts, as we've seen with things like Void Raven bombers and the Tau Tiger Shark. Now, I get it, those are vastly different classes of aircraft in general. That is absolutely correct. But uh, after some testing, yeah, I think, and even if I make it like 150, 125 of my points, usually it took 200 points of attention away for the Hive Crone. So that's why for 200 points, I'll take the movement over another 622 Flamer that doesn't have ignores cover. That's just my thing on that. And why we're also not an invasion fleet. Uh, Giving things like 5 up invuln, +1 to advance or charge for the wrecking crew, +1 to hit in melee for those, or fuck it, the Hive Crone, because it does have. Um, maybe you get that thorax spore off. Maybe you hit on 2 and you did it anti-fly 2. That 2, fallback, shoot and charge, rerolls for shit around synapse, mortal wound bomb after things get low, so on and so forth. That's why I'm looking to apply this idea to Synaptic Nexus. And the final thing that I'm looking to apply into Synaptic Nexus list that also can do a decent enough Overwatch and can benefit from Synaptic Nexus. Norns. We've seen Norns come out to play. So, this is looking like a very expensive list. This is a very elite list that I'm looking to try. A 2d6 blast psychic flamer, 6, sorry, not a flamer, not a flamer, don't forget that. 2d6 blast psychic attack out of this psyker that we've seen in Synaptic Nexus list before. But if a Norn can sit on a point and score me points, while they have to worry about the think tank shooting them off or the wrecking crew beating their ass, that's something. While a Hive Crone is flying around in between these synaptic ranges, synapse ranges, to benefit from some shit here and there and do flamers. And again, Overwatch, if anybody tries to fucking move around my Norn Emissary, my Hive Crone, my Think Tank, or the Wrecking Crew. I'm just saying, I think when you incorporate something like the core rules, uh, the core rules, duh, the core stratagems, uh, some list making gets more interesting. If anybody does this and wins a fucking super major, you better credit me, you ass. Um, but this is what I'm looking to try next. Do I know if it'll crash and burn? I don't. All of the things have had good-ish results lately, except for the Hive Crone. Um, Old One Eye and Friends, not necessarily great results in tournament play from because nobody's been taking it. But I trust Swisley on the front to see that it's been killing it for him over there. The think tank we've seen in several lists lately and done well enough, right? Enough X and 1 lists have been using the think tank. And we've seen enough lists even win with Norns in them. So, if I'll add my goofy little thing of a Hive Crone to see about overwatching everywhere, giving me mobility and playing Tyranids where I can score points while having threat overload and apparently still being able to survive things like Double Oath Gilliman. I keep saying Gilliman because that's really like where that comes from in a problem. But Double Oath Ultramarines and well, I guess we turned out that the Eldari outside of Devoted of Your Need haven't been too much of an issue. Here's the other thing. Thinking about it, Devoted of Your Need, not saying that I think I'll be playing against that anytime soon, but thinking about the current meta, let's talk about that too. With Mordaka, I personally am not concerned in the fact that I play Tyranids and my monsters are usually an issue for them. You ask Orc players, Tyranids usually give them a bit of problems. Uh, we chew up infantry. Orcs aren't hard infantry for us to eat. That's usually how that goes, and I haven't had an experience to say otherwise, really. So I'm not really too concerned about that, especially with the things that are being brought and the Overwatch part. Yeah, I think it'll be all right enough. Then Devoted if you need, it activates after your opponent's shooting phase. So if I don't shoot you and instead you try to move, and then I overwatch you and then you die, then you get to stay still. Meanwhile, I get to throw Old One Eye and friends in your face, maybe a Hive Crone, and back to the point of why I'm even looking at Synaptic Nexus. Fucking Trigon, Zoop. I get to do those things with like the melee aspect because Synaptic Nexus is a melee detachment, right? It's looking to buff your melee capabilities. So, to that extent, there's that. What else? Double Oath Gilliman. I mean, hey, I don't really know the answer for that right now. Full honesty, don't know if we have answers to it. But I do want to try the threat overload approach if that were to be something to come into contact right now. Now, I guess it should be even further said, I'm not saying that Synaptic Nexus is the answer for Tyranids. Not saying that. Don't want that to be misconstrued. I'm just saying that I think there's not the utmost despair because of how points shook out, that Synaptic Nexus might, specifically what I'm thinking to do with Synaptic Nexus, might have a chance in the current landscape. Might. Might. Capital might. Okay? So, I still think if we are to be playing this game, you're looking at Assimilation Swarm and Invasion Fleet and Crusher Stampede. Uh, Vanguard Onslaught had a decent weekend, so we can talk about that, kind of. So yeah. Yeah, I still wouldn't say, like, yeah, go play Synaptic Nexus. It'll win everything right now. I'm just saying for right now, what I'm looking at, this is what I'm looking at. Feel free to share your ideas if you've tried a similar list. Feel free to say that, and check out the coaching opportunity over here. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.